Arcane Fractured Jinx was the first $250 League of Legends skin with the new shop called The Sanctum. It came out last year when Riot Games pretty much exploited the Arcane series' popularity to launch this miserable gacha trap system. And just like every other content before release, it got through 2 weeks of PBE for testing and feedback. Now, the problem with PBE and this kind of stuff is that it follows the same rules and prices of the live client. That's right, you can't just try anything at any given moment whenever you like. Time-limited event skins are retired from the live client just as they are retired from PBE. Let's take Lunar Beast skins as an example. Lunar Beast skins are from the Lunar Revel universe. Lunar Revel is based off the real-world Asian Lunar New Year, which is celebrated usually around February of each year. That's why Lunar Beast skins are categorized legacy, because those skins, like many others, are obtainable only during specific events. And if you log into PBE right now, on November, for example, and search for them on the shop, guess what? You will not find them. And personally, I believe this is not normal for a public beta environment. PBE should be a context where players use this dummy account to test, to review, bug report their favorite champions, their favorite skins, new modes. We're talking about essentially free quality assurance for Riot Games. Instead, players on PBE are forced to grind dailies for a maximum of 3000 Riot points to purchase skins and champions with the very same prices of the live client. Yeah, I say champions because guess what? Not even champions are free and unlocked by default on PBE. You have to pay for them. You have to pay for everything. And so, back to Arcane Fractured Jinx. Exalted skins have been kind of the only exception since they were first released in terms of price. As the Sanctum is disabled on PBE, they're the only skins that would cost one single Riot point off the shop, which in my opinion should be the cost of every single thing from the PBE shop, mind you. But then, after the 2-week cycle ends, those skins are completely retired forever. Yes, even from PBE. Why? I don't know. I wish I knew. This is just so absurd to me, honestly. And so, as you should know, Riot Games recently backtracked on the FOMO factor for Exalted skins. Now they are essentially bringing back old releases together with mythic chroma variants, such as Genesis Nightbringer Yasuo. And for the Arcane anniversary, yes, they decided to bring back Arcane Fractured Jinx, but with a twist. In fact, they decided to update her with even more changes than they previously did after the rightful backlash from the community, if you remember. Since, you know, these skins cost as much as 10 ultimate skins together and won't even offer 1/3 of their features. And don't get me wrong, the fact that they are updating her post-release could be admirable, if it wasn't that they're doing it not because they genuinely care about Jinx and real quality, but because Riot Games is a corporation and all they want is just to sell more of their product. And so, after the announcement last Wednesday, I was so happy I could get my hands on the skin for a deep dive quality review, no? But I logged into PBE and, surprise surprise, Arcane Fractured Jinx is not there. It's not, it's just not there, to this very day. Riot made a feedback mega thread on the League PBE subreddit about the new changes, but whose feedback exactly? Are you telling me that they are relying only on a handful of few PBE players who remembered to purchase her last year? Is that how Riot Games seriously takes feedback into consideration? This is clearly mismanagement and disorganization. There are two possible cases I theorize. They either forgot to unlock her for everyone on PBE because that's how they do things, sloppily, distractedly, unprofessionally, or, and I hope this is not the case, they just really don't want players' feedback on the changes after all. As in, making changes is good for PR on the surface, but deep down it doesn't really matter what consumers think of the result. All things considered, we're talking about a company that sells products out of sentiment and splash arts, rather than actual in-game production and artistic value. The way they produce what are de facto works of art, because they involve writing, voice acting, 3D modeling, animation, is completely disordered, devoid of real structure or logic. Epic skins featuring more stuff than legendary skins, exalted skins featuring less stuff than ultimate skins. They have no blueprints, no production standards or guidelines. I mean no harm or offense to rioters individually, but the feeling I get from how they work most of the time is how a student group would face a class project. Everybody on their own, no communication, someone really cares about the project, others only care about the mark, and others just don't care at all. And the worst thing I see is people defending this kind of behavior. Here are some comments I extracted from my recent community post on the matter. This user says that I think I have rights to call out Riot for giving me everything. Everything, right. Everything being the very basic tools for them to literally have free QA testers on PBE. All I ask is to have access to beta content to provide concrete feedback and review only because I genuinely care about the wellness of the game as a whole. This other user instead claims that this stuff is fair to be exclusive because otherwise players would just stop playing in live servers and just play on PBE instead. And this had me very disturbed, especially because it's not the first and only time I read something like this. Disturbed as to how there are people who would even think that someone could just stop playing on live server and just switch permanently on PBE instead because of a skin. Okay, first of all, gameplay experience on PBE is atrocious unless you live in NA, because PBE servers are in NA only. As an EU player, I constantly have 200 pings every time, and it's literally unplayable and unenjoyable. And despite that, I still have to get through at least one game every day, which is also hard to find, by the way, because there aren't many players on PBE to begin with. And if I don't play, I cannot get youth points to unlock full price stuff on PBE to test for Riot Games for free. I am testing stuff and providing feedback for them for free. Second point, let me be very blunt and harsh. If you quit your main account on live client to go on PBE because of skins, then I'm sorry if I have to be the one to tell you this, but you clearly have problems. It's just absurd how you'd renounce your friends, your ranked games progress, and overall account achievements, which by the way have zero worth on PBE, so you can admire a fake collection of stuff you didn't really earn yourself? I don't know, it's folly that I even have to explain all of this to begin with. But anyway, yeah, if you guys won't see any quality review video for Arcane Fractured Jinx, know that this is the reason why I cannot make one. I'm really curious to know what you think about the state of PBE on League. Also, if you watch this far, thank you. And don't forget to subscribe, because it helps me greatly. And let me know if you appreciate this kind of format every now and then, where I just vent and talk with my real voice. Thanks again for watching, guys. Be safe out there.